Okay, everyone, today I have a couple of high powers for you. We have a classic Browning high power and a new competitive option from Girsan. First, let's look at the Browning and go into high power story time. So, this Browning high power is the first gun I ever bought. At the time I bought it, I wasn't into concealed carry. It wasn't as much of a thing as it is today. And the explosion of micro nines like the Smith & Wesson Shield and the SIG P35 hadn't happened yet. So what I wanted for my first gun was a full-sized pistol, one that I could use at the range and for home defense. And, I guess the main competitor to this at the time, for me personally, were Glocks. And I was really drawn to the looks of the Browning high power, as well as the grip. I have small hands. Glock grips generally aren't comfortable to me. This one is very comfortable, very pointable, and at a comparable price to Glocks at the time, this just felt like more for your money for me. Now, these Browning models are not available anymore from FN. They've been discontinued. FN did put out a new model called the High Power HIGH Power. Now, it has a cosmetic resemblance to a high power HI power, but it's not a high power, right? FN had a chance to make a modernized high power, but they really didn't. It's not even in the same family as this guy. It has no parts interchangeability, not even the magazine. It has no rail, no optic capability, and the grip, which is what drew me to this gun initially, it's not at all the same feel. So I think it's a swing and miss, definitely. So a company that did come out with, let's say, a modernized high power is Girsan, and this is the MC P35 Ops Optic model. So how do these compare? Well, you can see the most obvious differences are the Girsan model has the rail, it's got an optics mount, you've got a straight trigger here. Now the Browning high power, I have removed the magazine safety or magazine disconnect, and this pulls at 6¼ pounds. Now this one pulls at only 3¼ pounds. They are both very crisp, as a single action trigger should be. Reset's not great. It's kind of all the way out and non-existent, but back in 1935, nobody cared about reset, and I would argue that today it's not as important as you think. It's something that's cool to brag about, like in your living room, but during live fire, it just doesn't make that much difference, my opinion. Now, this one has a lighter trigger pull in part due to having a lighter hammer spring. You can tell the hammer's much easier to cock on the Girsan than the Browning. These Brownings have 32-pound hammer springs, which is very strong, and that's to set off hard military primers. Original spec was 26 pounds, so you can go down without any issue. But that's something I'm going to test on the Girsan, is will it set off hard primers? Let me show you that trigger real quick. A little bit of take up. Super crisp. Reset's going to be all the way out, just a very slight click. Also, the Girsan has this beaver tail, and that's to prevent hammer bite. A lot of people have that problem with Browning high power. I've only had hammer bite one time, and that's when I was taking a 2-day class, and my hands got kind of hot and sweaty in the afternoon, and my grip slipped a little bit, and the hammer dug into me right there, and yes, it did draw blood. Now, one thing about the beaver tail is I initially thought it kind of sticks out, right, and takes up more space, but when you consider that you're going to carry these pistols cocked and locked, it's not that much of a difference. Also different about the Girsan, on the frame here, you have a slight undercut, which may let you get a little bit higher of a grip. Not sure. I don't feel too much difference with my small hands. Also at the bottom of the frame, you have this flare, which, again, for me, not a whole lot of difference. If you have bigger hands, I wonder, if that gets in the way of your pinky or something. Now the grips I've currently got on here, these are Spegel grips, carved wood made by Craig Spegel. Um, Mr. Spegel's mostly retired now. These grips have gone for crazy prices on eBay. I've seen the grips alone go for over $400 lately. The Girsan has G10 grips from the factory. Very nice, but they're not as slim as the Spegel grips. The Girsan slide stop is slightly extended. The safeties are basically the same. They look a little bit different, but they're not much different in feel. The magazines are the same. The Girsan comes with just one magazine, but it's a Mechgar 15 rounder, and it is a Browning high power magazine. This is a 13 round magazine. This one's nickel plated, but it's also by Mechgar. And if you want to see, they are interchangeable. In case you're curious, the only difference between the 13 and 15 round magazines is the follower. The 15 round magazine, the follower is a little shorter. There's some legs on the 13 rounder that stick down a little further. So by shortening that follower, you can fit 2 extra rounds in. And there's no problem with these guys that I've seen. The Girsan is very well machined. It's clean. There's no machine marks really on the inside. Just take a look. Look at the mirror polish on that barrel. It really looks good. Now this came with a coat of oil on it. I've cleaned it. I didn't see like metal shavings inside or anything like that, like you might see on guns with lesser quality control. So my impression is it's very nice. Now this model comes with the Optic. Really, I wasn't interested in it. I'd rather save a few dollars and not have the Optic included. It's supposed to be a Hollow Sun K pattern or Shield RMSC with a modified cut. And I'm going to change this out with a Hollow Sun K sight. And the reasons I'm not interested in it is, you see the width of it? It's pretty wide. It's like an RMR width instead of a shield width, which for the narrow high power slide, it sticks out. You've got these fiber optics in the sight along with the front sight, which I guess that's kind of cool if you want to co-witness, but it's just too many red dots. See? And this sight, it's got the battery on the bottom with this like rubber shim kind of holding it. You see, I can just pull that. Yeah, I'm not too confident. It's inspiring. Also, the screws, the adjustment screws, like a lot of cheaper optics, the direction to turn them is not marked on the optic itself, which is highly annoying. Yeah, you could bring your manual and whatever, but you're not going to, and it's going to piss you off as you try to adjust this. And also, these don't click when you turn the screws. Apparently, that's kind of a hard thing to build into a sight this small. therefore expensive, but once you use the site with the clicks, you're not going to want one that does not. Also, this optic is auto adjust brightness only. Um, that's fine, I guess, until you get into a condition where it's not the brightness you want it. So this is going to be changed out immediately before I even go to the range. Well, that concludes my tabletop review. I'm going to take this to the range as soon as I can, do some accuracy testing, function testing, testing if it'll set off hard primers, and I will be back here at another time. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll try to answer them in a follow-up, and thanks for watching.